A park ranger stands front-facing in uniform of a tan flat hat, gray shirt, and green trousers in a wooded area. Behind the ranger is a 10-foot-high pyramid of stacked, round artillery shells that are painted black. The pyramid sits on top of a stone base.
Good afternoon. My name's Chris Young, and I'm one of the park rangers here at Chickamauga and Chattanooga National Military Park. How close is your family? Do you spend important holidays together? Do you talk to your parents or kids daily at a certain time? The Lincoln and Todd families were no different than us. They just lived in an earlier century. At one time, the youngest daughter, Emily, known in the family as Little Sister, stayed with the Lincolns in Springfield, Illinois for 6 months. In fact, if you visit Lincoln Home National Historic Site, the two-story beige frame, green shutter Lincoln home, shown here with red, white, and blue bunting hanging from the surrounding fence, you'll see the room in which Emily stayed during her time there. Extended family stays weren't uncommon during the 19th century, but it does speak of the family's closeness. In 1856, Emily married Hardin Helm, a Kentucky state representative and the state's attorney for the 3rd District. As you look at this 1857 photo, Emily sits on the left, dressed in an elegant hoop skirt, while Hardin sits on the right, dressed in a black suit. However, when the clouds of war began accumulating, Hardin refused a position with the U.S. Army, and instead, he raised the 1st Kentucky Cavalry Regiment for service with the Confederacy. Several Todd members donned gray uniforms, essentially estranging themselves, in part, from the Lincolns. However, their relationship with Emily was quite unique, and it played out after September 20th, 1863, when Hardin fell, mortally wounded, during the Battle of Chickamauga. Today we're standing at the mortuary pyramid, marking the location where Helm received his mortal wound while leading the Kentucky Orphan Brigade. Shown here in the early war, prematurely balding, yet with a full beard, Helm is dressed in a dark uniform with double rows of brass buttons and hand-tinted gold epaulets. This pyramid, one of 9 originally erected in 1894, is 3-sided and formed by 400 painted 8-inch artillery shells or hollowed-out cannonballs. The metal placard affixed to the front reads, "Benjamin H. Helm, Brigadier General Commanding Brigade, Breckinridge's Division, mortally wounded here about 10 a.m., September 20th, 1863. By September 22nd, news reached Lincoln of Helm's death, and the President lamented, "I feel as if David of old did when he was told of the death of Absalom. Would to God I had died for thee, O Absalom, my son, my son." About a month later, Emily and her daughter, Katie, received a pass to visit the Lincolns in Washington. Emily confided to her diary that Sister Mary's tenderness for me is very touching. She and Brother Lincoln pet me as if I were a child. Without words, they try to comfort me. However, others' scrutiny of her loyalties to her husband's memory and to the Confederacy forced her to leave Washington for Kentucky. Prior to her leaving, Lincoln said, "I hope you do not feel any bitterness or that I'm in any way to blame for all this sorrow." Emily assured him of Helm's love and respect. But according to Emily's response, "For weal or woe, we must side with our own people." Emily, unfortunately, never saw Brother Lincoln again. In the coming years, however, she and Robert Lincoln became extremely close, to the point that Robert sent her money to visit him. Insisting that she accept the funds, he said, "You must not think ill of a nephew who loves you as much as I do." The ideologies of this war literally ripped families apart, yet love and kindness were the true test of family solidarity, even when family members disagreed fundamentally. In the daily turmoil we face each day, it's my hope that we look to our past in order to gain insight and footing for our future. Thank you for participating in our 157th anniversary programs here at Chickamauga, and we hope to see you all again soon.